My house has already undergone a massive transformation, but that's largely been on the outside of it and is so much less than what it's going to be. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. The work you're about to see, this is stuff I've never even heard of before, and it's going to change everything. At the end of the last video, my back porch was ready for concrete, but I had left out some important work that we need to go back to. The builder came in with a major change of plans and decided that he needed to rip the back of my house off. Now, I have only good things to say about this construction crew, but I think they got a little too enthusiastic on this part of the demo, which left a permanent scar in my living room. The good news is that drywall was already going to be replaced. Fortunately, that was the only collateral damage they did. Now, this tear-off did have a little surprise that gave me a chance to be a part of the video. We found several wires on the porch that needed to get moved, including a couple that were on the wrong side of what was soon going to be our new building envelope. So I got to do some electrical.
Do you have a straight screwdriver?
He has one. He's gonna go.
Okay, thank you.
That was me sending them on a 5-minute quest to find a tool. And then I realized I didn't even need it.
Actually,
Oh, you don't need it?
I'm stupid. That's what I am. Watch this.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry. Also, thank you for agreeing when I said I was stupid. Okay.
I somehow thought that was the right thing to say. Oh, it's embarrassing. There really isn't a lot here for, heroic moments of DIY work. Really, I just need to show that I did something. And I know this next part's going to really bug some electricians. Don't worry, I'll fix it later. This back porch, it was always going to go. The reason I talk about plans changing is just that the timing is sooner than originally anticipated. They had work to do in the attic to get some supports done that it just needed to be gone. Now, they thought they were only going to be tearing the upper part of the chimney off with my porch. However, the discovery they're about to make, it's actually going to change all of the plans for the back of my house and also my living room. What'd you find today?
No wall behind the brick.
This won't hold the weight.
Structurally unsound.
There should have been, this should be a wood box with brick on the outside of it. And there's none of that. This is literally just a brick box that's empty.
One single row of brick. There's no structure here to build on top of to go up and put any weight on.
So you're saying this whole thing has to be ripped out?
The unexpecteds of remodel.
Yeah.
I never dreamed that there wouldn't have been a wall.
This is going to set me back probably about a day.
Probably a day.
Day and a half maybe. But if we do it now, then also we're going to rip it out and I'll be able to take the new concrete pad that we're still waiting to pour and it can actually pour through and and it'll all be ready to go.
Yes. And we are going to try. He's going to save.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to save some to finish this out across here where it all looks the same.
Okay, so yeah, as much of this as can be saved will be saved because this brick over here, we need some extra.
We'll have to be up some, yeah.
So it was already my plan on the inside because we got that brick going all the way up to the fireplace on the inside. We were already going to rip that brick out. Next thing we're ripping this brick out, so I'm getting a brand new fireplace.
Basically, yes.
Basically. So I got to go talk to my wife to figure out what we're going to do for the fireplaces. And I'll let you guys get to tearing it all out. In the previous video, I changed partway through from doing concrete for a small portion of the back porch to the entire thing. Well, now you know why. This next part almost didn't happen. The builders were worried I was going to damage my house or something. But I finally talked them into it. Now, up to this point, the upstairs was only the 3 outer walls. Here's a shot of one of those walls I couldn't find in time for the last video, and it just looks really cool. Going from those 3 walls to a full roof is a very big process with a lot involved, which is why I'm excited about this 3D render of our house showing the attic and where all the work's getting done. If you remember from the first video, we've got a ton of LVLs going in. And these LVLs, of course, are holding up more roof, and the first to go in were here, over our garage. These ones took a lot of extra engineering to get right. We'll talk about that more here in a minute. And while here in the render, there's a lot of space, when we get up into the attic, well, there's not much room to work. And into this tight space, they had to bring these 20-foot LVLs. 12 of them. There was a lot of creativity involved with getting the LVLs into the attic. It honestly wouldn't have been possible if they weren't already tearing apart parts of my roof. Speaking of roof, these beams are turning into effectively a bridge that's going to hold a column, which will then hold my new roof up. By the time they were done putting all their screws in, the 4 LVLs had become a single beam that went all the way from my attic out into my roof, kind of blending that line between what's in and outside of my house right now. Here's something I just never thought about while planning this home remodel. Those impact drivers, they are loud. And they are even louder downstairs when the sound is traveling through the walls. I have small children, some of whom may need therapy when this is all said and done. So much for not living inside the project. The attic work was so much more than just putting in LVLs. It seemed like everywhere they needed to reinforce, there was already a roof support in place. So they had to go in and rebrace the roof in new places, and then once the new braces were in, go and tear out all the old stuff. And they had to do that for every LVL section they were putting in. So this took them a long time. This was a few weeks of extra work that I don't think anyone was really planning on. Okay, we need to pause because I'm about to do something incredibly stupid and embarrassing. And frankly, well, you all need to see it. So there are 3 men on this crew, and only one of them doesn't speak English. It's this guy right here. And this other guy, yeah, he doesn't speak Spanish. And I have been spending this whole time watching and thinking that, my man card might be in question. And so when it came time to pull this LVL in, I decided to step in and help. And so here I am, helping them bring it in. And I think he's telling me things and I don't know what it is. And well, I did it. I felt good. And then I looked. And I think he'd been telling me it goes on the other side of that column. And they were stuck now. And so here they are doing what was hours of work to move the supports so they could put this in place. Yeah, when I realized how bad this was, I actually ran off embarrassed and came back later to get my camera. So, I guess the moral of this is let the professionals work and stay out of the way, unless they ask. which they never did. So just stay out of the way. As soon as I was out of the way, they were able to very quickly get these LVLs in place. This part was cool to watch just because they are putting 4 of those LVLs in and putting them on a massive joist hanger to make this kind of bridge over the garage. Very cool. And yeah, I did not stick around to watch. And I made sure that they were gone before I got the camera back. Yeah, I think it's time we move from the garage over to the middle of the house, where they had the next bit of work. And once again, they have to start by bracing up the roof, this time to cut out part of the front wall. And the part they're cutting out is where the new LVL is going to go. When this is done, the stairway down below is going to be part of an entryway that currently is a room with a load-bearing wall that I'm going to get rid of. So they're putting in this structure so I can rip the wall out and be able to turn this into something really cool in the future. My plan is that this bit of extra work will future-proof the house. Once the LVLs arrived, they basically had to undo all of their work and put the wall back in. And, well, you don't get to see this part because I forgot to record it, but they then removed all the supports they installed. This next part is one of the many ways they had to fight to bring the LVLs up into the attic. They first had to haul them up the ladder over the garage and get them just into the attic itself. Once they were in, they had to maneuver them around the giant air conditioner unit that's blocking the middle of everything upstairs. Then carry them around the air conditioning unit the length of the house, trying not to fall through my ceiling. Finally, once there, maneuver it all the way around all of my air conditioning and wires and ducting and all of the infrastructure in the attic to be able to finally get them into place. I'm just impressed watching this again, seeing what they did to make this all work out. The only almost upside to this is they did all of this in the wintertime. Honestly, it would have been insane, and they probably couldn't have done it in the summer with how hot it gets up there. There you are, a day and a half of extra work, and that's going to let me get to a project in, I don't know, 2-3 years from now. It will definitely be worth it, though, when I get there. At least that's what I'm telling my kids. This right here, I think it's called an establishing shot, to let you know that it's time for the back porch again. And this time, well, the concrete's getting poured. Here's the concrete truck pulls up. You're gonna see me make probably the smartest DIY decision this entire video. And that decision was, yeah, I let the professionals do the work. I had the opportunity and thought for a while that I was going to be the one doing the concrete finishing. If nothing else, because I've never done it before and I love learning new things. But it turns out this crew was willing to do the concrete, and they're way better at it than I ever would have been. So here you have the professionals finishing what I thought would be a DIY project. But sometimes you just got to make the smart call. And for those of you who are nerds for learning things like I am, here is a very short montage of what it takes to get concrete laid out in the forms and ready to cure. I came back the next day and I took all the forms off by myself. So, it's still kind of DIY, right? Now the back porch was done, they were able to use it to get the next LVL in, and this one is huge. It came in around 20 feet long, and this is the largest LVL they put into my attic. It's going over this, the opening between my living and dining room. Because of its size and where it's going, this back porch area is really the only place they could have got it into the attic. And the whole reason they're putting it in, well, that's easier to see on the 3D model again. I have a roof support column that's right over that opening downstairs. Fortunately, it's the last large LVL they had to put into the attic. Everything else was comparatively far more manageable. All right, y'all, I need to take a second and thank one of the very first partners that my wife and I found for this project, which is DesTech, the company that made the 3D models that you see here. And even more than that, and far more importantly for us, they took a vision in our minds and turned it into 3D models that we could see and understand, and all of the blueprints and charts we needed to get this entire thing approved and permitted by the city. DesTech worked with us through several versions and helped us refine our way into what we finally built. Full disclosure, I'm a little bit uncomfortable showing you some of their renders of our house, not because they did a poor job of it, but because it is a poor representation of just how good their work is. My wife and I are fully comfortable imagining what this house will look like in its finished state. And so what we ended up with is very basic. But DesTech is able to go all the way to taking a vision and fully staging it out so you can begin construction fully confident of what the house is going to look like when you move in. And honestly, if you live in Northwest Oklahoma and are looking to build, remodel, add on to your house, or even doing commercial construction, give them a look. They were an amazing partner for us, and they will do great work for you too. All that work in my attic starts to pay off here, as they cut holes in my roof and get ready to install the roof support columns. And this part starts off with making sure they have perfectly aligned holes with the overall roof line. You can see here, for the most part, it was a straightforward process after all that work. They were able to get the columns up onto the roof and then basically drop them down into the hole and get everything aligned. And this worked well for most of them. As you can see, the process was pretty simple and fairly quick, and they did a lot of these. You can see here a couple of them going in a row. After all the work the crew did to get to this point, I'm guessing they were really excited to see things starting to go a little more smoothly. But that wasn't always the case. When we get to the middle of the house, again, things got a little more complicated. They had to do a lot of extra cutting to make sure everything was the right size. And then it took them a few tries, sometimes 2 or 3, like right here, to figure out the right way to get these things into position. It looks like it was 2, 3 or 4 tries and a little, yep, there we go. Got it. Yeah, a lot of work there. This column here, it caused more trouble than all the others, I think combined. One, because it's the longest support they needed to put in, and 2, because it had to go up through the attic instead of down through the top. Again, they had to maneuver it around the attic, which was almost the easiest part of this entire thing. When it was in the right place, then they had to find a way to raise this thing all the way up and get it out of the roof. The solution they chose was pretty smart, a ratchet strap. Then they had to deal with the fact that it wasn't the right size hole cut in the roof. And that created its own problems that they had to solve a couple times. And then when they finally had the hole ready, the ratchet strap got in the way. And once that was out of the way, finally they could get this thing lifted up over the AC ducting and then into its final position. This has been shortened to about a minute and a half, but they were at this for a solid half hour, holding this 100+ pound beam in place while it all got sorted out. The last set of support columns went far easier, and you can see it here. They managed to knock those out very quickly, and once they were done, we were ready to get the roof put on. But that's gonna have to wait for the next video. Hey y'all, I just want to jump in and say thank you so much to all of you for watching the video and sticking with it to the end. And also for everyone who has been a supporter of the channel, just been following me in the journey. Thank you so much. I know the delays, the waits between videos has been long. It's a lot of process, and this is a one-person channel. I'm doing the filming, the editing, the building at this point, so it's taking me a while. I am doing everything I can to get these videos out faster, but again, I just wanted to jump on at the end and tell you how much I appreciate that you're with me, and I want you to know this is just the beginning. This house build is getting so much bigger and crazier every day, and I am excited to bring it to you. And again, I appreciate you being with me on this journey. It means a lot to me. Also, my kids, have a quick message for everyone.
Like, comment, subscribe.